Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to Presence and Practice. Sungshim and I are back. And the way we do things here is we just had a little conversation this morning and wanted to share some things we kind of reflected on and themes we noticed. And so one theme that we noticed this morning was something about what do we do personally? Like, what do you do? It kind of comes out of a story you were thinking about, and then we'll share. What do you do when you notice that you weren't treated properly? What you said it differently, so kind of how did you say it?
I think the question I had was when you are in a relationship and then the person you are relating to or have a relationship with fail to treat you with dignity that you deserve. So it can be an individual level, like the couple's relationship, or friendship, or family, or even the workplace, or just like the big organization, just from small to big.
Yeah.
When an individual or the group treat you without dignity, then what's our response? I think that was the question.
And even some of the ways. So we're trying to find the right term without dignity or a non-relational way. But we all have different. Maybe that could even be a whole conversation we have sometime. How to clearly articulate what we're meaning here: dignity, relational, all those things.
You're right. I really like that. The dignity means still staying relational with you because you are a human being.
Yeah. I see you as a human being. You have value. You're not just an object to help me get my job done more efficiently.
Right.
Or an obstacle that I need to get out of my way.
That's right.
And you have gifts, and you have a story, and you're in a moment of time right now with worries and concerns in your heart. So that's how you remain relational. How do you do that? Like, you can see that will really slow you down if you're trying to get stuff done. So then it really reveals, what do we value? So these are themes that will just show up, and so Sungshim and I have a challenging time. How do we just narrow the focus each time? So what was this story that you were kind of been reflecting on?
So since 2018, the current situation, I have some heartaches, and then that actually brought me back to a time when I was a junior high school back in Korea. You were supposed to pay tuition to go to your junior high school and high school. And then here I think it's free. And I believe in Korea now it's free education. But back then when I was going to school, since 7th grade, you have to pay tuition. I was poor, and then my parents could not give me the tuition on time. But then I have a homeroom teacher who has a clear goal of becoming the best class.
To pay on time and pay first and
Yes.
100%.
That's
you see that in our kids' school. They have PTA stuff like that.
That's
so you
right.
can see this young teacher is motivated to do that.
Yes. So then because of that, he will come in the morning and then in the afternoon when he dismissed the students, that he will make sure that he will call those individuals who are not paying, not even on time. Like, let's say he had a goal, so he was work towards that. So he will call students' name. Sometimes kids forget to bring it. Sometimes, like me, who didn't have money to bring it. So as a young woman or young teenagers, age 14 and 15, he will call my name in front of 60 kids, and you stand up. And that twice a day, whole year, when he was my homeroom teacher for the 7th grade, actually 8th grade, was such a painful and humiliating experience. And then now I am 9th grade, and then the announcement came out letting people know that who is my homeroom teacher.
So let me pause you. So you had one full year of this happening twice a day, which I didn't even know it was twice a day. I don't understand the second day part of the day, but anyway, so you did one full year, and then the beginning of the next year.
And then I found out he was my homeroom teacher again.
Gosh, that had to be a nightmare.
And then he continued a couple more months. And that, as a youngster, which is so painful, like in front of all your classmates, you are showing your nakedness. Oh, hey, I'm so poor that I cannot even pay tuition on time. So even when I say now, like there is something in the middle of my heart is just burning. But in my culture, Korean culture, you are not talk back to your authority, especially teacher. But something there, I knew that needs to be done. So one day I broke the rule, and then I was supposed to stay inside the classroom when teacher comes and dismiss the students, and then I stand outside of the classroom waiting for teacher to come up. And then I told him, I don't even remember what I did, but basically I told him that needs to be stopped.
You feel it now a little bit, huh?
I do. And I told him that cannot be continued. The good news is that he stopped. And then when I looking back, in Asian culture, whatever that your temperament, and it was, I'm a very vocal person, yet that's my cultural background. And then you are now bringing things up, especially when you did something wrong. I did something wrong, quote unquote, that didn't pay tuition on time is my fault. And then that's why I was remain quiet. When even in your marriage, in your relationship, with a workplace, you knew that you didn't do fully your job. Then almost we think that it's okay for the other person to treat you whatever the way that they want. In this case, the teacher can humiliate students because I didn't pay tuition on time. And I realized our responsibility as an individual in that case is to still show up and still let the other person know how things are done cannot be ignored. And then you need to, it's scary. I would say I didn't do it with a noble reason. I just did it. I really need to survive. I cannot handle that shame, humiliation another year. So I think the reason that we are sharing this thing is, what does it look like to own your mistakes or your fault or your weakness, your lack of capacity, yet still you let the world know or the other person know, this is what I want, this is how I want to be treated with dignity.
Do we want to share like how we experienced it?
Go ahead.
Well, it's our story, but so Sungshim and I organized the house differently. And in the beginning, I thought hers was the right way. But then I realized we have different ways. And sometimes, in the beginning especially, you would bring it up in not the nicest ways, in my experience.
Or just honestly speaking, very contemptuous way. What kind of person are you to organize that way?
Yeah, why do I leave the books piled up that way? You've brought it up other times. I've neglected to do something about it. And so what I eventually started saying, and frequently you would say, is, Sungshim, like I would say I'm 2 feet away from you, which means, what does that mean to you?
Then I need to lower my voice.
Yes, because your volume, like we're this close, you don't need to speak to me that loudly. And your tone of voice, please speak to me more like thoughtfully and kindly and with respect.
That's right.
And I said that like once or twice.
No, you did it a million times. I don't know how many times.
A lot of times, and that's annoying, isn't it?
It is so annoying.
And it took some like courage, or like, because I know that could irritate her. So there's like multiple layers here, because I could see she has a point about how things are organized. And actually, in the course of our life, I agree with 90+% of what she's trying to say. The way you say it, the way she says it, sometimes demeaning, wrong, like irritating, frustrating. So instead, we would get stuck on either one sometimes. We would be like, I don't like the way that you say it, but also I can see your point and I need to do something about it. So how can we stay relationally connected, treat each other with respect, dignity, know each other's strengths and gifts and weaknesses, and still state our wants and our desires?
And that's hard.
That is challenging.
That's really hard. Either we always choose connecting, staying connected, at the expense of not sharing what you really want to
Yeah.
need, and then later you become totally different. Or the other way, I wanted what I want, and I
Yes.
don't care the
Yeah.
state of relationship. So if we are at least holding that as an ideal, and that's where we can go. And then I
Strive
think,
for.
yeah, now I think that we are more doing it in our relationship. So I really want us to ponder, slow down, and ask God, what does it mean by stay connected to the person you love?
Yeah.
And also at the same time, share, state what you want and desire.
That's what health is. That's what differentiation is. That's what it means to be a mature human being. And usually we can do one. It's hard to do both. Stay relationally connected and stay, I think this, I feel this, I desire this. So may we talk to Jesus about everything?
Yep.
Should I bring Jesus
Yeah.
out? Talk to Jesus about everything.
Because that's the way that for John and I can testify that
Yeah.
that's the way that we could do both.
Yep. Talking to Jesus about everything. Really, we did. And then we would share our conversation with Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. God bless you. Remember,
Change
changing the world.
Oh.
Changing the world one relationship at a time. God bless
Okay,
you.
bye.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.